All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. All right. 27th. Cranking it at the end of the month here. All right. So, um, right now, not a ton of movement in the last 24 hours. A lot of retracing, saw a little bit of dollar weakness followed by dollar strength coming back after it, but it really just kind of retraced to where we were this time yesterday morning. Big movers. Dollar yen continues to deteriorate. We're seeing that yen strength roll back in again, as well as the pound yen also continue to push down. And really, 77, 74 are the biggest two. You can see Aussie dollar totally flat, 1, -5, 5, 9, -21. And then obviously the pound still continuing to gain some strength on that. So not a lot out there that's like, it's hard. Euro came in, and again, we talked about this. You can see that in the last 24 hours, it is down. Last 15 minutes, obviously, it's been up since the U.S. data. But we talked about this being a red number yesterday. And, even though they were raising, again, would be considered more of kind of like a short symbol at that point. More of a short-based trade because everybody kind of expected it. Now, the U.S. data today, U.S. data is going to kind of throw some people for a loop. Again, it's very, very mixed. It's how do you read this? The unemployment claims basically came in as exactly as expected. Hold on one sec. Call you after. All right. It's hard to understand how to take this. So our advanced GDP on a quarterly basis is up. There was an adjustment last time. It wasn't quite as bad, and it's accelerating. So again, that's good. But then when you get in there and we look at the price index on things, this is a hard one to read because, last time it was a big increase. It was actually more, but then they kind of lowered this one. So it's kind of like, well, this is bigger. So is it on the same trajectory as what they thought? And that's probably what the case was. So although it's a red number, it's hard to decipher whether that's good or truly bad because of, again, that adjustment. Now, the durable goods orders, there's no mistaking this one. It was expected to be positive, right? Slowing down a little bit, but positive, and it came in negative, right? The core number. And again, that's what a lot of people are worried about. The durable goods overall, expected to be positive, came in positive, but not as high. These are some of the things on here. It's kind of like, is that good? Is it bad? But this is great. So again, very, very difficult kind of news release to play this morning, right? And again, it really depends on how you want to crank it down because, orders tend to be forward-looking, Advanced GDP, again, it is kind of, but not really. And then obviously the price index, right? So looking at these, it's like, will this change anything? Will it make it get better, worse? Nobody really knows. Now, obviously, ECB, we're going to be flooded with headlines because, again, this is all in close proximity, the 8:15, and then the press conference is happening. I think it's over now. Right? What is it? Risks to growth are clearly on the downside. In particular, the near-term risks to inflation outlook are primarily the upside. Okay. Expectation around 2. Yeah. The main inflation risk is an increase to retail energy prices. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, yeah, obviously energy is a problem, but yeah, bank funding costs are increasing at market interest rates. So have not finished normalization, meaning we're going to raise more potentially. Turning back forward guidance. We do have to, yeah, okay. We have to do additional rates. And again, that's what kind of this is. We're not finished. We do have to do additional. Okay, so that's what they were kind of looking for. We'll decide principles of portfolio reduction in December. TPI, price stability is our mandate. Yep. And again, it's interesting that she's saying that price stability is our mandate, right? I mean, again, price stability is kind of what another term for inflation. It's just a different way to say inflation. But again, the ECB is talking about price stabilization. That's the exact same thing that OPEC says is what their mandate is. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stabilize price because the positive $20, negative $20. Yeah. So again, price stability is kind of the goal of all these things. So it's interesting that that's, the purposes of our monetary policy is to fight inflation. Yeah. Yep. Yep. May have to raise rates at several meetings. Okay, that's interesting because they've had some statements about one. May need to go beyond normalization terminal rate, maybe beyond. Yeah, and again, this is what the U.S. has already said. Not only are we going to get to where we need to be, but we're going to go a little bit farther, right, to make sure that it is down. Which again, it's the right thing. I mean, again, nothing wrong with any of the statements that she made today. Led by aircraft orders. That's interesting. Well, I mean, kind of makes sense. Monetary policy decisions. Let me see if there's anything in here. Call it the calm before the storm. After the shrinking, the first thing is going to rebound, but the performance is likely marked by a reprieve ahead of next year's projected recession rather than a sign of a brighter outlook. Okay. All right, that makes sense. For trade balance and the rise in business investment, offsetting weaker consumer spending, and another plunge in housing construction. Yeah. Well, and those two are going to continue. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, again, nothing out of the ordinary there. I missed this one 9 hours ago. BlackRock headquarters stormed by protesters, some carrying pitchforks. Is that real? Are they serious? Really? Stop funding climate justice. Wow, pitchforks. Nice. I feel like if you bring a pitchfork to a protest, somebody's getting stabbed. Right? Am I wrong? Right? Am I wrong? I feel like that's the wrong thing. Like if you want to bring maybe like a plastic pitchfork, I mean it is Halloween, right? You could get a devil's little trident thing right now. I feel like that's safer, but when you say pitchfork, I feel like they mean like straight up legit pitchfork, which I feel like is not the best thing, right? Just like bringing a gun of any sort to a protest, probably not the best idea, right? I feel like people will misconstrue that. Oh, wait, that happened already. So, yeah. Anyway, tomorrow morning. There is some decent data tomorrow morning. The core PCE price index is extremely important. It is something that the Fed does look at. It is one of their more preferred kind of readings, and projected to be, again, positive. Okay. Hold on one sec. Hold on. It helps when you can spell. There we go. Oh, no. What? Okay. All right. So, yeah, tomorrow morning, I do think this core PCE is something we should definitely look at. And again, if it comes in at the 0.5, again, this is every reason. This is what the Fed's looking at. And, they see a bunch of bad data, but this is really kind of where inflation is. And again, I'm not, again, just as a citizen, I mean, last time I was supposed to be 0.5, it was actually higher than expected. I don't know that I'd expect it to be higher, but again, if they're already forecasting it, it means we've raised it, what, 3 times, 4 times, right? Something like that now. With that many raises, right? With that many raises, it's still continuing to increase. When is the slowdown coming, right? That's kind of what we really boil back down to, and I think is really kind of what the main focus should be. It's, like, listen, we are not slowing down. We're still raising. Everybody's got a solution, but yeah, it's not working yet. And I think that's kind of a big deal, right? Kind of a big deal. So, that 0.5, I was really hoping that would be lower. Here you go. Wells Fargo, right? Came out by Wells Fargo. Anyone hoping that the FOMC's barrage of 0.75 basis hikes will come to an end by now likely will be sorely disappointed. Yeah. So, again, this is a big number, very important number. It is a number that the Fed definitely looks at, actually puts more weight into this one than something like CPI. Okay. And then I'd like to see, I'm very curious, again, pending home sales down 4.4%. I'm curious to see how this comes in. Because remember, we did have a surprise last time with the I think it was new home sales, actually came in higher than expected. Definitely think it'd be good. Interesting kind of look. And then obviously consumer sentiment is important. So again, a lot of news tomorrow morning early on before we get to meet. Today, again, I'd also like to see what the BOJ is saying. It's still got the, the list of kind of, can't actually click it yet. Not seeing anything from it yet. Hold on. Final draft economic package. Yeah, I still think we can get some headlines for this one. And again, I think this provides yen strength today, based off of what we're seeing in the market. So, yeah, so interesting 24 hours. You can say, look, I mean, the big mover of the yen, now it's down to 45. It was 72, and now it's much lower. So not as exciting. Yeah. Was hoping we get better. Anyway, let's go over into the charts. We'll start off with VIX. So VIX is technically in the green right now, but is it really? No, not really. I mean, from where it closed, yes, it is slightly higher, but I wouldn't say that it's really off its trajectory, particularly in the overnight. The European session didn't really provide much change. And again, you'll see most overnights, this was a bigger one. A lot of overnights don't provide major movements. A lot of it does happen inside of the U.S. session. Again, flat, big move, right? Flat, big move. We've had our flat. I don't know if we'll get the big move or not. Again, we are going to be preparing for that CPI number, but you never know. Right now, the dollar, it's technically in the green, although it's now pushing back down again. Based off that number, again, I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, wait, I see 3 red, 1 green. It must be bad. I think that's why we're getting this push. Now, yesterday, we actually wondered if we were going to take a 110 bounce. Right, we actually needed to go a little bit lower. We came into this 109.50 range, and then Europeans really are the kind of what started this off. There's the European market open right in here, and you can see that again we were kind of basing the overnight. They provided all this dollar strength coming in, and now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. And again, seeing 3 reds, you're like, oh, that's bad for the dollar. That's bad. Yeah. Maybe, but I think PCE tomorrow wipes all this out. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if the dollar does come back down into this 109.50 range. Reason why, again, with that PCE number, that is absolutely more important than some advanced numbers and some manufacturing orders. Again, manufacturing, it's always... It's one of those things. It's harder to understand, and people are looking at the GDP and it's like, oh, does that matter? What is the consumer doing? We saw consumers not spending as much, but then at the same time, all we need is a little pop in spending, and that GDP number, kind of recovers itself. And it's kind of a gauge of going backwards. And I think the inflationary part of it is going to be a little bit more in touch with what we need right now for the markets, because really we haven't had a lot of data in the last 2 weeks. So, big question. This one, is this just a emotional response to all that red? Do we find, and again, I can move this down to here. That was a decent base down there. Do we find a base now, and do we end up at 101 tomorrow? I'm sorry, 111 tomorrow morning? I think that's going to be an interesting call. Again, we are pulling back. If you want to, looking for a reason to get in, you could say, wait a second, there's a basing level at the 50% and 110. Oh, we're reversing. We're going to go higher. You could absolutely make a case for that. And we are in the right kind of range for that to happen. Okay. Indices, again, NQ down. It seems like NQ is the brunt of everything bad right now. Anytime there's anything like negative in there, it seems like that's where it comes in at, right? Technology, right? We had Microsoft with some problems. I don't follow Meta, but I guess Meta had some issues as well too, because of advertising on Google, is what I think where it came from, right? So again, kind of a strange morning to be trading that one. Commodities, crude up again, and natural gas, 7% increase in a day. Woo! That's quite a jump, right? We're talking about potentially breaking through. No, not so much. Yeah, Meta reads what it says. It's never on Facebook anymore. Yeah, I agree. I thought I don't know. I will always call it Facebook, right? And I agree, Jeff, 100%. I think they got themselves into a lot of trouble. Claimed like we didn't know. Yeah, I think I honestly I blame most of our current problems right now on Facebook. Selling of data, selling of personal data, to one of the political parties. I thought it was, I don't know. The fact that they haven't come down harder on them yet, I'm quite surprised. But anyway, let's jump over the Aussie dollar. So yesterday for the Aussie, we did talk about a potential drop, and we had a kind of a kickback, and really it kind of just established a new top in here. Like we can adjust this by just a little bit here. Really, we just kind of maintained in the overnight, and then Europeans kicking in right here, really, that's kind of what shot us down. Now, it hasn't really gone down, and you can see in 24 hours, it's moved minus 12 now. So we were calling for a short, and it got to about a 1-to-1, and then just kind of flatlined, and we just came back and really chopped through the same risk level. And now we're kind of at the same place. Now, big question is, are we going to have that dollar strength come in now on this one? Honestly, I feel like it is justified to come in. That PCE number is expected to be bigger tomorrow. The market should be pre-preparing for it. They're kind of confused, and you can say, well, is there a lot of Aussie strength here? I mean, gold is down, so the Aussie's not really getting any strength from gold. Is it dollar? Is massive dollar strength coming in? I mean, got a little bit, but it's not really. It's not the movement that you would assume, right? I wouldn't say that it is the best, right? But at the same time, it's not the worst data. So at this point, I mean, again, we can move this around a little bit. Again, it's spent so much time here. It's bouncing off of it now. I do like the formation of this top candle up here, and I think that's a decent area to look at just in preparation for tomorrow, because, again, we got to start looking at, okay, if price moves to here before news, that's a great trade. Particularly, and again, remember, I lost my little calendar thing here. I'm still pissed about that. I actually like that calendar one. I don't like the graph. Man, I feel like I need to complain. Like, give me the calendar back. I love the calendar. I guess I'll use the check. There we go. Right here is the news. So if we are sitting up here at the news, I think if we can kind of maintain across, I think that's a decent short. Now, again, I don't know if price is going to be there. I don't have a crystal ball, right? But with it maintaining and basing here, we're kind of boxed in. It absolutely could kind of rally up. Now, we may get a push down, dollar strength in the U.S. session. European session may roll it back up again. But if we can be here, then it's a short trade. Overall, I do like this one more to the negative side. I would like to keep a bearish mindset on this one because I'm hoping the PC finally gives us the concrete direction and doesn't screw this up even more. I know that the market is being, I don't know. The market is like, oh, they're not going to be as vigorous with their raises. I mean, yeah, I guess there are some signs that, the economy is going to a recession, but inflation is what we're trying to fight right now, right? So inflation is the number one, villain. So I think this one comes down. Also, yen. So yesterday, we talked about this long here, and it did actually. Yeah, yesterday it came in at right around 1 o'clock. It came up about 3/4 of the way, and in reality, there's a turning point there. So you probably wanted to close this one down early, and you can see now it's kind of pushed through. We do have a Harry Potter trade that we're talking about down here. We're looking for a near-term base, and it did kind of base in, but didn't give us an entry. It did give us a confirmed lower base, though, so we've just moved this down a little bit. Instead of being 94.36, we're looking for a short coming through 94.26, 10 pips lower. And again, it came back and forth, never gave us the basing, like the space entry, but it did give us a more near-term base that we can use now because we know that this level is eaten up. And again, we're kind of pushing through. So, again, small short here. This one, or I'm sorry, a long yesterday. It only went about 26 pips, so you may or may not have held that one the full duration or not. Like I said, it hit it and bounced again. Give us a few kind of ways to play it during the day. And but we talked about being high on the curve, looking for guaranteed strength roll in. So I still like this one. I do think this one comes down. Be careful your profit targets. Again, we have the 50%, which there's nothing there, but the 61.8 absolutely has a zone sitting right there. So for this one, the very, very bottom of this one, be cautious. I'm hoping it's only a few pips in. We can grab it. But this 61.8 level is a very good level. I do like this one. Again, 4 wicks ascending. Those are the bottoms that we like with a nice push off and the power of a 61.8 there. You got to look at this and be like, yeah, there's probably something there. So again, we're looking to short into that. Make sure you take profit out before you make sure again, this one turns and reverses on you. I think this actually has a very high probability of reversal on it. Okay. But it's going to be a profit target first for the first Harry Potter short. Now, euro dollar. So euro dollar, we ended up kind of coming up in 10:30. We're like, maybe it's not really giving us a decent candle. We're not getting a red, green, red. We're not getting any of that kind of stuff. We did finally get a red, green, red in here, which said, okay, the tide has turned. Where's the most recent base? Boom, right there. Came up and grabbed it at about 1:30, and then again around 4. So there was an entry kind of in the overnight session for this one, pushing it back down again. And all it did was it sucked back down to parity. We talked about yesterday morning that, hey, watch parity, and it did. It bounced off at 9:30. It bounced off parity. We're looking for a top. Again, we finally got it. It kind of slowed down. And I guess from 12 to 2, almost like a 12-hour period, we just kind of went sideways. We popped a little bit and pulled back before you could pull a trigger on it. So, again, right now you can see it's a very odd candle. Right, these are strange 30-minute candles. A big drop in at 8, and then kind of a small body, lots of wick, and then small body, lots of wick, and kind of doing the same thing right now. People are looking at this, are like, I don't know, is it good? Is it bad? What are we doing with this dollar, right? And I think this is kind of a justified response because it is a very misleading number. Whoa, what was that? So with it bouncing back and forth, again, kind of makes sense why it's there. I guess I have Kip this morning. One good thing about this, though, is the 23 is broken through now. This was that old level, and you can see it Harry Pottered off of that yesterday. And with it basing here, it did pierce, so I'm going to remove it, and we'll just use parity on that one. So right now, we're looking for a breakthrough 99.38. Again, this is a dollar strength-based trade right now. Again, we know that the dollar news is coming in right here. So right now, I would say, if anything, I am definitely more bearish than the euro dollar, looking for this more to drop to the downside. Again, hard to grab risk in a level like this, but again, it's dealing with an old zone. We knew we had buyers, we knew we had parity. Always a difficult piece there. So, but I do think this one again maintains its trajectory, goes down, and question is, what does it do when it hits this line right here? Right? It's only really been in it twice, and it left kind of with a confirmation. So if it bounces off of that, I wouldn't be surprised. My buddy, come here. Oh, come here. You do some trading today? You gonna trade with Daddy today? All right. Euro pound. All right, so euro pound. We were talking about this one going down, and we talked about how it's consolidating in, and it did up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like Jesus. We never really got. I mean, I guess there was one potential opportunity, but it was a pretty dangerous entry. We mentioned it that you could have been in, and it literally just back. This is one of those trades that you're not losing. You're not taking this one long term. And all it did really was just continue to maintain the same level. Right? If I bring this across, look, and finally went up and grabbed the guys up here, right? And actually, it missed those guys a little bit. Stop. No. And then again, we got our collapse. So the collapse came in. The collapse came, but unfortunately, to trade this one, this would have been one of those option positions you kind of held for a longer period of time. Kind of harder to play, right? Trying to think, what do we do with it now? After this move, there's probably going to be a bit of a reversal. Yeah, touch the 78, so I don't need that anymore. What do we have here? Problem is we're sitting in that right now. Yeah, it's a little high. Man, I wish there was a little zone to bounce off of there. How much space is this? Oops. 40. All right, so the problem with this one is there's a decent Harry Potter trade in here, or just continuation trade in here. But again, the European news we got was actually was good, right? Was good. We're seeing obviously a major push down prior to that news. I would expect a bit of a reversal. What? What do you want? You want something over there, but I don't know what it is. You want this? Figure out what it is. Grab it. Grab it and go. That's what you wanted? Of all the things, that's what you wanted? 58. Daily's 98. So this one should retrace based off of the news that we just had. Then go down here, please. Okay, here, take this. Here. There, on a technical basis, right? Based off of this level here, there's nothing. We don't have really a buy area here, right? So purely technical, this should continue to deteriorate and drop all the way back down to this level. Unfortunately, after this much move of price, it is kind of a little bit outside. What? What do you want? What? This? You want this? Trying to figure out what he wants is like the hardest thing, I swear. Purely technical level, there's no buyers here. Based off of this move, it's out of the ordinary. It's two move based off an ATR on the 4 hour. It is somewhat news based. And again, we're pulling in right now and you're seeing a bottom. And all the news they talked about is a bullish. They just said that they're going to raise it multiple times, most likely, probably go past where they need to go. These are all actually fundamentally, again, fundamental changes in the market. It should rally back up again. So this is one of those ones that's kind of a battle of technicals versus fundamentals. Again, a little bit harder to play, but the way that I would do it on this one is almost kind of say, hey, listen, your pound can be great to figure out whether you should play the euro dollar or pound dollar. Right now, you may say, well, listen, hey, the pound is in a good space. Yeah, it has been, but we should see a bit of a reversal on that one. So it's kind of like at this point, it kind of, again, it's too green right now. It's looking like the reversal is going to come in first before the continuation down. It looks like it's going to be more pound weak. So if we're looking to play dollar today, it looks like pound dollar would be the way to do it. Okay. But right now, again, the last move we had was a pound strength based move. So again, ideally we want something right now. I would say that it's probably guessing more than anything else, but I would say probably runs back up a bit because again, that's too fast of a move in too short of a period of time. And it, again, most likely news-based from this morning, okay? All right, euro yen. So euro yen, there's the news, right? There's the news. Easy trade setup, right? What do I mean by that? Why is it an easy trade setup? Well, what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about yesterday about, hey, listen, the market has had plenty of time to prepare for this 2.0. Everybody knows the 2.0 was coming. Again, we talked about how there's a 66% chance, 60% odds in your favor. How? Again, market's already factored it in. If it comes in as expected, again, there's no, everybody will be late to the trade, but the market already knows. If it misses, it goes low, like we saw with CAD. It's a negative trade, right? The only way that it goes up is if it is a positive based, additional raise on top of it. Well, wasn't the case. There's your run up, right? And here we'll drop it down to 15. You can see that there's your 8 o'clock candle, did nothing, and then 8:15, boom, smashed to the downside. So, I hope you guys were able to get that one. And again, so close, you had to be looking at this one. Once it paused at 8:15, you get short. And this is a big rally, so there's not much, 150 pips. So I hope you guys got into that one. Not much I can say on that one. Hope you got into that one and didn't miss it. That was a pretty easy one, though, right? Yeah. So again, will there be some retracement? Probably, yeah. Again, the statements were definitely on the positive side. You're going to have some profit paid. People that did make this 150 pips, it only has a daily ATR of 175, and again, that's a little bit inflated right now because of this yen play over here from Friday. So again, it's coming back into the range of where it should be, but that's kind of a daily ATR worth of data, right? Or worth of movement in an hour and a half. It should retrace back again. I don't know how slow it's going to be. Plus, I like those the comments made. The problem is this is kind of what it's going off of, right? There's the buyers, right? There's the buyers it's going off of. But what are you doing? What do you want? This? This? Or this? This? Shiny? Oh, here. With this? This is your toy. It should retrace. Unfortunately, the buyers were not at a level we could find like a great risk level. If anything, that would have been a target for the short to the downside. But even so, 150 is kind of a big target, even for news. Not that it can't move that, but again, banking on 150 for a news release is a little bit much. So if anything, look for this to kind of roll back up again. It is a parabolic move. If you do get long, make sure you're out before you get to that level right there. Okay, let's put that in. Pound dollar. So pound dollar. Right now we are up 25. I wouldn't say that we're really, is it really up 25? Maybe a little bit based off the time. But here's the 10 o'clock candle. Pretty soon at the 11 o'clock candle, 1 hour, we're exactly at the same spot with zero movement. All it's done is it's gone up. It's peaked. It's at above 160. I do kind of like where this is at, maintaining its height on this one. I would say going into the news release tomorrow, I am looking more for a short on this one. I think with PEC coming in as expected, which I think it will, I actually do think tomorrow for some reason. Normally I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's going to miss. I actually do feel like PCE comes in as expected. And as long as it doesn't miss to the downside, which I guess obviously it could. But I do feel like we come in as expected. I do think that that really kind of reaffirms that, hey, listen, the United States is going to continue to raise, and we start to roll this down. We've had many days now to kind of celebrate the new PM and everything he's doing. You know, they still have problems. They haven't fixed all their problems by getting a new PM, but you know, I think PCE is the I think it's the official data we need to start seeing some dollar strength roll back into the market. So, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of looking for a short, but again, look for this news. This is going to be a big trigger in the next 24 hours. Pound yen. So, what do you want? I see you pointing. You want this guy? Is that what you want? It's so hard because he's at that 8. Well, go ahead. What do you want? Go ahead. You want this? That's what you want? Okay, you can have that. Yes, that goes on there. Boom. There you go. So smart. Minus 26 is nothing. It's a drop in the hat for this one. Right now, the daily ATR on this one is 280. And again, obviously the yen has jacked this one up. But if you know, again, 150, 160 is kind of a standard. A standard daily ATR for the pound yen. If it gets below that, you know that it's kind of suppressed. We've moved a little bit, and you can see this is kind of we're sitting right in that area right now. It did go down the last kind of draw top to bottom, and again, we're off by a little bit on this one. Whoops. You know, it basically was in such close proximity, depending on your broker, right? You probably got in if you did a 61.8, and that was basically at European session. So we had this big deterioration. We talked about it yesterday, being bearish this position, waiting for it to drop, and we were sitting right here. Yeah, right. Come on, get down then. If you don't want to be up here, get down. Okay, that's not what he wanted, I guess. All right, come here. Come back. You need to use your words. I know you're one. Yeah, here. Somebody got their vaccines yesterday, so they warned us that like he's probably going to be grumpy in the next 24 hours. Poor kid. So we went in. He's still short. He's still 15th percentile, so he's still a little guy. But being one, they had to give him like I don't know, it was like MMR and all these other things. Poor little kid's got these tiny legs anyway. She's got 4 needles, and she's like, damn, bam, bam, 2 in one leg, 2 in the other one, Band-Aids everywhere. And I don't like needles. So I'm like, oh God. She's like, no, it's okay. You'll be fine, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I know I'll be fine. But like this poor kid, And of course, like he's silent crying. You guys know what silent crying is? Anybody with kids knows what silent crying is, right? They are in so much pain and they are so unhappy that no sound comes out, but they're bright red, their mouth is open, and you can tell that they're trying, but they just can't, right? He's in silent crying mode, and I'm like, oh God, I feel like a horrible parent, right? Anyway, from where we were yesterday, you saw there was a big push to the downside, about 132 pips down. Nice little rally up, and again, we did tag the 61.8, and again, this is, obviously something to look at. It was a little bit short of where we were looking, but I do think we mentioned it yesterday. Talking about when the European stepped in. I can't hit it. He's moving. Right there. Here. Right? European market is pretty much what dominated this one, right? Back and forth, European. And again, all we did was we went right back up to where their move was, back up that 170 mark. So right now, again, I'd like to see some more yen strength come into the market. We are going to chop back and forth. We did talk about the pound being weaker with the euro pound. With that said, again, if we starting to see a collapse, I do think you kind of need to watch out for the 61.8 level. But again, it's 60 pips away, right? So again, there is probably a small trade in there. But what I really like to do is really start kind of focusing on the top. We know that we had larger time frame levels here at the 170 to 170 60. We could probably shrink some of these, and again, I didn't move this. That's where it came back up. That's where it kind of pushed. This is obviously a enormous enormous risk level here. I was going to draw some tops and bottoms on this one right now. Kind of don't want to do it, but I'm going to put one there. This top is so ugly. It's like, oh, it's such a big, like this is technically the level right here, right? A little bit much. Yeah. He hears me making noises. He thinks it. Honestly, look at where the base is on this one. I don't have a trade in this one. just based off where the candles are. Like I said, I felt pretty sure about being bearish yesterday, and again, we took a nice run to the downside. As far as today you go, it's going to be hard to kind of really get any level of risk. I mean, if we drop 60 something pips down, that's quite a bit of pound weakness. This zone up top, obviously, we've already taken the one roll off of it. What do you want? Why are you so high maintenance today? You're very high maintenance today. Um, I don't know. I feel like this one comes down. There may be a buying opportunity if we can get European session. Next European session is there. So I kind of like to see where we are. I don't really like a top and bottom in this one. I think there's much better opportunities out there. So again, show caution with that one. Damn, we missed by just a little bit. Yeah. Again, kind of expected this, right? We knew we had all this data coming in at 8:30 today. And again, the initial response on this one was what? 9 o'clock, or actually the 7 o'clock candle, 7:30, sent it straight up in the air. We peaked. Right there. There's your 8. There's your 8:15. And then all of a sudden the data came in. So again, Europeans, what'd they do? They sent it up for news. Got really, really close. Just in time to have the news come in. And again, did pretty close to what it was supposed to do. This is another one of those ones that you got to be looking at this at 8:15 and being like, oh, God, I should be short. Just go a little bit farther. Please, just give me the entry. Give me the entry. And it didn't come all the way up if you'd used the old zones. You kind of had to use that new established one. But we're all the way back down. Back down to the 135.16. I do actually like this 135 level. And again, you're seeing oil rallying yet again. I'm wondering if tomorrow we can break it up into the 90s. I'm actually okay with this. I think this is actually good for us. Again, why? Because we have that PCE data sitting right here. Okay. And again, I'll tell you right now, with oil continuing to creep higher, we're less than 2 weeks from election time. The polls just keep sliding. And again, the polls are not necessarily always right, but the polls keep sliding farther and farther and farther from the left into the right side, and taking things back. Within 2 weeks, something drastic is they're gonna have to do something drastic. They're like, look, this is what we're doing. We're trying to get this done. Don't mess it up. Right. I feel like the more the oil creeps here, the more that somebody, like, there's going to have to be like a Hail Mary thrown at the end. I feel like there's a Hail Mary coming, right? Do I know what the Hail Mary is? No, I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel like oil is going to be a big piece of it. Price at the pump is definitely something that is obviously a hot topic right now. A hot topic. Turn on CNBC and that's kind of all you hear about, right? As soon as they talk to any senators, it's like, well, what about this oil thing? And again, we're almost back up to 90, not where the Democrats wanted to be. So I think there's some type of a Hail Mary coming in here. When that oil weakness comes in, that drives CAD weakness. So this dollar CAD right now, I don't know where it's going to be. I mean, at this point, I can remove this. Whoops, I can remove that. I can remove this initial push. I do know, again, we had that Harry Potter here. Buddy, I need that hand. Come on. Yeah, well, you can't have a power drill. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. See, this is the fourth hit of this one. So this should not hold. What? Here. Here's everything. Here, take everything. Here, take it all. He's basically grabbing a bunch of little like 3D printed parts. like you really can't. None of them are bad for you. Put them all in your mouth. 134.80. I'm wondering if we can go down to 134. 80 pips down. Ideal scenario for me in this one. So I would like to be. I don't know where. I don't know where we're going to be. I'm just going to draw it right there. I'd like to get into something like this tomorrow with the dollar CAD. Again, reason why is because, again, we've had like 3 days of oil straight up. If we get any type of oil weakness, that is CAD weakness that naturally sends us higher. But I do think that the core PCE data is good enough that, it justifies, kind of going higher. Wait, what? I, I mean, I'd like a new base to be put in too. If we can get, so here's the other scenario. If we can get a base put in tomorrow morning, guys, and again, you don't have to be up at the European Open to do it. I'd kind of like to see if we can go down and say at 3 o'clock, wherever 3 o'clock is, it's right here. If we start to see a base put in, and then we start to pull away from that base, right? Then it gives us a definable level of risk. And then what we're looking to do is from the 8 to 8:30, pull back down to that level. Okay. Here, here, there. Look at all these fun things. Look at all these fun things. Something along those lines. If this makes sense, hopefully it does. Right. Basically, a new base put in at 3 o'clock in the morning. We kind of go up at 5:30 in the morning. We go up till wherever this bottom is. We go up till about 5:30 in the morning, and then we hit that kind of pre-news movement time, and then we come back down to that, and then look for something along those lines. Okay. And again, I'm just drawing in here. I don't know where it's going to be. If it does it there, then yes, maybe I have a crystal ball. I don't know where it'll be. Ideally, if it comes down to the 134.10, 134.16-ish area, that's a great level. We know we have some buyers down there, but again, thinking about where we can go in the next 24 hours, it's 77 pips down all the way to that level. That's a lot, especially after this run here. It's already down 122. Can it go 200 pips to the downside? Does this data justify 200 pips? I don't know about 200 pips worth of data, right? Maybe if oil jumps another $5 or something, maybe, but that's a lot of movement to not have a retracement back in again. We are outside of the norm right now. If you throw something like Bollinger Bands on there, Bollinger Bands will tell you, and again, you can see it right now. Here's the pinch. We exploded high, and then what did it do? Rubber banded all the way back. Look, the rubber band got big, and we've exploded past, and now we're pierced past the band right now. I think can I make this style? Upper, lower. Can I make that thicker? Yeah, there we go. You see how it's passed right now? Right? We're right there. It's right there. Right? You guys should be able to see that it's passed. So again, we should be looking for profit taking coming in somewhere in this area. Yeah, it's a seed. Go ahead. You can eat it. I don't think we run 77 pips. So I'd like to see where a new bottom is put on this one. Again, this is more of a plan for tomorrow morning. It'll be on before, it'll take off before we're on. I guess I don't need this either. Actually, let me fix it first. Style. Oops, not that one. I'll go back to that. There we go. Anyway, there you go. So there was a trade from yesterday morning. We ticked in at 8:30. We said it was a little bit late. We did just come hit it again, and you can see it came up, and it looks like, is it out the second time? Yeah, it's out for the second time too. So 2 different trades off the dollar Swiss. And again, yesterday morning, we talked about how this would have been a decent trade to take the 23.6 in there. It did push a little bit lower. So again, whenever you get new lows on there, people will look at it, and you can see, was it a 23.6 turnaround? Nope, it was the same supply zone that it was before. And again, it has pierced through the bottom side as well. Actually, this should be a little bit higher. There's the zone, and that's 318, 316, 3.01. So there should be no doubt that, again, good trade yesterday, good trade on this morning again. Right now, I'd like for this one to stabilize a little bit. I would like for this to continue pushing lower. This one is very similar to all the other trades. There's our news tomorrow morning. We'll see where price is. But there is a base down here that, the beta will be, you could say, hey, listen, there's a base. There's a confirmation off that, and you're 100% right. We could have a roll off of that. It would require about a 33 pip push to the downside. Ideally, if we could get it, this would be best case scenario where we come down to here at 3 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock we start to rally back up again to here, right? That's a potential scenario, or it could be vice versa, right? We could start to rally back up. We could come to that level again, and then it could do one of these things where we kind of cycle it down with Swiss strength and, again, dollar weakness. I don't have a crystal ball. All I can tell you is if we're here or here, either of those two are a good opportunity. And, again, you may say, well, wait a second, draw it again the other way. Yes, if we come down to here and then we bounce off of that one high, you look at this and say, well, wait a second, that's dollar weakness. Yeah, we could have that, right? If tomorrow's data comes in and this core PCE number comes in at a 0.3, right? If this comes in as a 0.3, meaning that, wait, inflation slowed down a bunch, the market's going to take that as, oh, the Fed doesn't need to raise as much. That's dollar weakness. That's what drives us straight down again. So I don't know where it's going to be tomorrow morning. There's no way to predict that. I can just tell you, if it does come down, if it does this, then we look to go short. If it does this, right? If it does one of these things, then we look to go long. Again, the market will know where it's going to go, right? That we have to trust the market, right? We don't trust indicators. We trust the market, all right? Dollar yen. All right, so dollar yen, we know we're in a big level. This is kind of where right now you can see the 23 gave absolutely no pause. I actually thought the zone was a little bit higher. Right now, we're going to remove that just so we can see a little bit better. As you can see, 145 was a bit of a turning point. And yesterday morning we were sitting right here, talking about getting down to that 145 mark. This is an old level. I don't need that. Where do we go with this one? Let's draw 2 on here. It's probably what we have going on here, this high to low, even though we changed trend like 3 times in here. They're up a little bit. There's a bit of a zone there. I'd say right now, I mean, how much is this? It's 30 pips. Kind of a lot for the dollar yen, right? Kind of a bigger risk area. Again, it makes sense why it's turning here. Can we break through this level and the 145? I don't know. I mean, right now the trend is dollar weakness, but I do feel like a lot of this is just in preparation for that number tomorrow. I think this dollar yen is a little bit harder one to play right now. Because again, we definitely have the factor of the yen coming in. And again, you may say, well, wait a second, why is this going down, right? I mean, yeah, it's dollar weakness, but right now all the indices are up. All but NQ, but NQ is rallying back again. So again, positive yen on that. A positive market tends to be yen strength coming in. So, the way we're seeing it right now, I'd say there's a potential bounce off this level right here, 145.35. Do I like it for a reversal trade? It's 30 pip risk zone, a little bit too much for this pair. I think this is a great one to get set up to play tomorrow morning. We do have the BOJ, interest rate decision, obviously not going to change much, but I think this one's really important to see what happens in the overnight. Where do we move? Right, we absolutely can come down here. We can form a new base. We could be down low here tomorrow. I will say tomorrow morning with this PCE, this is going to be a very difficult one. Trade the euro dollar, pound dollar. Don't trade the dollar yen because of the proxy of the yen tomorrow. Unfortunately, which strengthens the dollar will crash the market as well, which also could help out the yen a bit. So, but right now it's a couple different factors. I'd say look for it to come down. Again, potential bounce area, but I don't love it. Too much risk level. I think there's better trade setups out there. Looking at oil. So, oil. As I mentioned before, the next level we really have in oil is up here at 90.90. There's a few, looking back a little bit, we're kind of sitting right here right now. We know that we have some basing, but it's touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here. It's touched a lot in that level, and that's right around the $90 mark. We're less than $1 from it now. We do have a decent test of the level that's only been hit once and had a very strong push off of it before, up at 90.91. As I said, technical-wise, I do think that this one has the ability to go just a bit more, right, all the way up to here. But I really feel like at this point, in less than 2 weeks as we go into the weekend, I feel like there's going to be some type of a Hail Mary, whether it's Saudi Arabia making a comment to try to, be PCE with things. It is, I don't know, is the president going to say something? Right now I feel like this is what we dealt with since Monday. Monday morning, early, we started at $82. We're up $7 this week already, right? Going into the election, they don't want oil up $7, right? Because again, we already know that people will vote with their wallet. They've already said they're going to vote with their wallet. People are unhappy. 40-year high inflation, gas prices creeping back up again, following the plan, and again making friends in all the right places. Right. I feel like there's a Hail Mary coming. I don't know when it's coming. Lately, when I've said that, it's come like hours afterwards. But I feel like right now, look for this to run all the way up to this 90.93. The first technical level that we can prepare for is at 90.93, and then maybe look for it to roll back again. If we can push up there tomorrow, maybe we kind of end this one a little bit. But again, energies are just up there. And again, ECB talking about how energies is the big problem. Yeah, not helping. So yeah, look for this one rally a little bit more. Natural gas. Now, natural gas, we've already had the gap up. Now, we did gap up into some levels, and there's a few levels up here. Not the easiest ones to grab. I mean, I don't think anybody predicted this much of a jump. We talked about, being at a level. It didn't enter. It just literally gap right past it. It should retrace all the way back down again. I won't be surprised if it comes back and we're back down at, tomorrow, if we're back down at this 570 mark, will not be surprised in the slightest bit. Again, 6.37% is outside. Again, do the same exact thing is something. I don't know what balance of power is. It kind of sounds funny. I'll have to check them out. I have no idea. Balance of power? I don't think they have any idea how to understand that one. But there's your pinch and there's your explosion. So you can see, obviously, a gap puts it way outside of that range. Yeah, he just banged his head. I think it comes all the way back in again. Remember, this is kind of high. If you continue this across, this should be back down at 550, 550, 560, and I think it gets back down there in the next day. All right. There we go. Yeah, so look for the rollback. Gold, we talked about this one kind of turning. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here, and all we did was we went up and grabbed that same level. We had to draw on and said, hey, look for gold to deteriorate back down again. Gold is a very ugly one to trade right now. A lot of kind of running back and forth, a lot of small-bodied candles, a lot of wicks. It looks like very, very hairy kind of going back and forth in here. And again, yesterday at 11 o'clock, you had an opportunity. Late night, you had an opportunity, and then it just has kind of continued to deteriorate lower. It's in a channel. It's an ugly channel. Would I say, get short now? And I'm kind of rooting for gold to go higher right now. I'd like it to go back up there. Again, we know that news tomorrow morning is going to be very, very big. News on Friday comes in right there, right? I kind of want it to go up. Like, this is what I'm kind of cheering for now. It's like, yep, go, and be back up at that 1672. I would like to get short. I think regardless tomorrow, I think it goes short. But I think there's more opportunity to the downside. And again, I could be surprised. Could the PCE number be too high? Sure, it absolutely could be, in which case I think gold spikes. The real true test is going to, and again, because people know data early, the real true test is going to be what happens in the European market. So from, where is it? 1, 2, 3. Okay. From here to here. That's what's going to matter most tomorrow. What happens during that time frame? Right there. That's what I want to know. Okay. Where are the European setting us? Are they setting it up, setting it down? That's going to be the true test. Okay. Silver. So and this I can tell you right now that the markets are weird. Again, we called for this short yesterday as well. You can see it tagged right off the 50. Right, we drew it right there. Right. Gold is down 0.07. Silver down 0.07. They're exactly the same amount. Silver should be double. So right now the market's trying to adjust and figure out what's happening. Kind of same thing. Want silver to go up. Again, if you guys are going to trade silver tomorrow morning, that's where the news is coming in. We're sitting smack in the middle. See if we go up. See if we go down. Should give us an idea what that PCE tomorrow is going to be. And again, core PCE is the preferred number that the Fed is looking at. Take it for what it's worth, but it is the main thing that they look for. Okay. Let's see. What do we got for some? There we go. We're creeping up. We drew it yesterday. Nice little rally up in the overnight, after night. Again, we're up in an area where we talked about, 5420 being an area of selling. Apple deteriorated back down again yesterday. Tesla turned. Look, it did. Look, it spiked up and then rolled back down again, and then kind of did the whipsaw at the open and to push back down again. And again, this is kind of why you want to trade options, guys. Don't ever buy stocks. I guess there's a few reasons why you could actually buy a stock, but only if it's combined with options. There's no reason why just to buy a stock by itself. None. Risk is way too high, right? If you're going to combine it inside of an option strategy, there can be a case made for that, but there's literally no reason. No reason. Nobody has enough money that they're going to take ownership in a company. And if you can, you're not doing it this way anyway. So a lot of other ways you could do it. So let's check it out. Let's see. Dixie obviously dropping back down again. Yeah, that's what the sentiment is. VIX going down. Absolutely. Dollar down is helpful. Indices are not doing bad. So let's see if there would have been anything we could trade. And again, it's always hard to trade these when we have news literally right before, and news this big at 8:30. Right? It's like, oh, what do we do? Let's see. The 9:45. Let's see. Our overnight push is there. There's our confirmation up. So there is your overnight position, your overnight base. There's your confirmation. There's your touch. Yeah. So in reality, there's two trades here. Right? Here's your overnight. There's your news. Your news popped up to it, immediately got slammed back down again. It continued to rise. 9:15, 9:30, both of these actually touched. We're sitting in an overnight zone. Now, it had been hit a few times, but we knew we kind of backstop in both directions. Let's see if this one actually would have gotten you out of this trade. I know it's green. You're like, wait, what do you mean we're shorting at the open? Yeah. And it didn't matter. I mean, you could have shorted the open right there because there's your overnight base strategy, or you could have said, okay, well, you know what? The open drove it down to this level, which again was a confirmed level on this side, and you could have taken this one here. So, really doesn't matter which one you would have taken. 1, 2, 3 is right there. So, wouldn't have made any difference. But yeah, absolute entry. Both of them are out with 1 to 3s. Again, you could have traded it news-wise and been fine. So whether it be a news trade, an opening print, or the opening drive, you're kind of good either way. And again, whoops. Oh, God. So I'm going to move that one. So, yeah. Okay, so somebody's happy at the open today. Right? Somebody's happy at the open. NQ. Let's see. NQ 930. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, right? We're in a downtrend. There's your level of basing right there, right? That's really where we kind of took off. There's your 930 candle is this green one. And again, could you have gotten into it early? Yeah. Look, 830 turn, based, pulled down, came back up again. Short. 1, 2.5, and 3 is right there. There's 3.05. Okay. Yeah, this one didn't have a reversal because it was down here at the 50. Although, I guess we had talked about a Harry Potter here, finding that pattern. Is that your Harry Potter trade? Yeah. That was not an entry because it didn't clear. There's your 1 to 3 Harry Potter. Right? Drop, base, pullback, right there. So, again, trade the Harry Potter yesterday. We're good. Again, look, there's your base. This is kind of the base. There's your base. You're like, oh, there we go. There's your base. We came from the top. We base down. Drop, pull back, drop, pull back, down, down. So either way you looked at it, again, opening print worked fine. That's what we're managing. All right, let's see what we got here. There's your overnight. Actually, this wouldn't have mattered. Let's see. 8:45, 8:30. We were already high, so we had really nothing to go to. This one actually did have a long, right? Because if we were basing off this area here, right? There is a pullback level that we got a confirmation off of 8:45. We came up. Actually, 9:30's here, so no. It did. This is kind of the same as the ES, where the opening print drove it into a zone. So for opening print, the answer would be no. This was not an opening print based trade. The 9:30 candle is this green one. It's not in a level here, and there was nothing there that we could use for a sell. Now, the 9:45 candle, just like ES, did drive it down into a pullback level. So you could have gotten into this one at 9:45, but again, that's not opening print. So right now, it's 2 for 3 as far as opening print goes. 100% out. Had you taken this one, though, at the 9:45, it's just standard pullback based trade. Again, you were obviously out. It's definitely over 1 to 3. I don't need to draw it. So again, here I'll draw because some of the people are like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? There you go. There you go. All right. Russell. Okay. So, Russell, there's your overnight position. Actually, we'll go there. All right. There's the bottom of 2. Okay. So, there's your opening print. We came up, we grabbed it, and boom, dropped to the downside. And 3 is right there. So you're out. Now, could you have done the 945? Yes. I'd say you draw this here. Right, encapsulates this. It's where the test is. Just kind of shrinks your zone a little bit. You can see there's your 945 touch. And at the same time, there's your 1 to 3. You can see that we are now past. So as ugly as these were, ES gave you 2. Actually 3 if you count news. But ES gave you 2. Russell gave you 2. This gave you 2, whether it be a Harry Potter or the open. Didn't give you a reversal. And YM gave you 1. No opening. So 3 for 4 opening print. Initial push reversal. 3 for 4. So we're 3 for 4 for opening print. 3 for 4 for after the initial drive. And then there's 1 news. 2 news. This one you probably wouldn't have got into it because for news you would have pulled it back a little bit. So not a news there. And same thing. This one actually would have triggered though. So I'd say conservatively, we won't count the third one. We'll say 2 for 4 for news. So not too bad. 3 for 4 opening print, 3 for 4 opening drive. Plus 1 Harry Potter, and then 2 news trades. So plenty of opportunity opening this morning in all the indices. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that. All right, with that, let's go over and do our drawing. So Mr. Jeff won yesterday. So Jeff will be going for 100. Everybody else is going for 25. We have all the usual suspects in. All right, let's close it down. Winner of today's drawing is... Oh, look at that. Sean, that's like 2 in the last couple days, man. Right? I feel like that's you've been kind of competing. I feel like... I don't know. I feel like Will has fallen off, right? Will's fallen off, right? A little bit. Ernest and Nero, they buy more, trying to get some wins in there, right? But as far as the consistency go, I feel like the ladies have dropped off a little bit. I feel like Sean is like the hot guy right now, right? Right? I feel like Sean is the hot guy. So, yeah. So let's go over here. Let's give Sean his 25. There we go. All right. So, Ernest loses again. All right, guys, with that said, we are back on tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. As I said, tomorrow, big morning. This core PCE number, it's what the Feds look at. It is their main it is their main kind of data point. So keep an eye on it. As I said, European sector will give us a lot of kind of foreshadowing of what's going to happen. Again, take advantage of it. Should be pretty easy. With that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you then. I don't, yeah. No, absolutely not. No. And like I said, I don't know what okay, so I was gonna, I mean, I don't know now today, if anyone wants to come afterwards, I mean, there's no, like, limit to where the closing. And I was going to tell people, like, people come out afterwards. I think we're going to do it now. The idea is, get them all headlamps, and put them in glow sticks so they can find each other. Just have the field. I mean, there's a bonfire there. We don't. The bonfire gets big at like 10 o'clock or whatever. And yeah, the early, typically the kids aren't fresh. Don't kill yourself, kids. But yeah, I mean, definitely. So I mean, I was gonna basically do what we had to do anyway. Set up if you need to. That way, you just literally roll up for yourself.